Welcome everyone, this is Pilot Fields and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Sans Winda.
Hello.
And Cinders.
Hello.
Hello then. We have both of you on this week so we can prove you're two different people.
Something like that?
Yes,
Something like that. Let's head into our game news for this week, and we'll begin with a little bit of a patch update 23.4.1, which is a small little update where the biggest thing in here is that in combat they raised the base morale of enemies between levels 41 and 75. And yes, I have noticed that because before the patch, I think when I was running Icy Crevasse on my level 46 character, it was pretty much going quit, 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 quit. Now it's like bang, 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 ouch, bang, ouch. So yeah, they seem to be also a little bit tougher in there. So that's something that I've been noticing. I don't know how much you've been noticing a difference in the morales.
There's a difference, but it hasn't been horrible.
Yeah, on the landscape it seems like things are... I'm still able to get through them, and of course I'm doing this level on my completionist warden, and completionist means I've got... I believe my virtues are at tier 7 right now, which I have capped characters with worse virtues than my level 46 warden. So, in fact, I think my Langeville warden, I don't believe my Langeville warden, which is my second best warden, has virtues that are any better than those of my honor warden right now. So that shows you how much difference is on that matter. I know that yes, my Landy Warden is way back on virtues wise. Honor Warden is doing great. When I get to 120 on that character, whatever the cap is, that whenever the legendary servers reach cap at the same time as the regular servers, I think I am just going to be so far above the rest of my characters.
You might have a new best character.
Yeah. Whether it's best or second best, I don't know, because my virtues are capped on my Crit Collar Ward, because I did go back and do all of those deeds in order to make sure that I was capped off, which I think is 20 right now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am capped up on 20, or at least on the equipped. And all crafted armor has been adjusted to bring it more in line with other itemization in the game, whatever that means. And while this change will make items such as Craftful Journeyman through Supreme more appealing, as it will reduce the power in some pieces, particularly for armors of the Westfold through Honorian tiers.
Yay and ouch.
Yeah. Yay and ouch. Oh, well, you had a couple of ouchies in there?
I haven't gone back through to check all my armor, but most of my characters stopped crafting their own armor anyway, because that was a lot to keep up with and required a lot of inventory space and materials.
Yeah, I guess you gotta have a point with that. And the main thing I've been seriously crafting on my tailor have been the pieces for the standards for for Cinder's character. And I don't think I've been keeping any of the stuff any of the leather armor that I've been making or anything like that, any of the medium armor. Maybe I should look into that again at some point.
Like, if I make a piece and it's better than what I'm wearing, I'll keep it. But if I'm on a character who can wear it, or if I crit, I might put it in shared storage for alts. Like, I geared up a couple characters on Anora with crafted gear because I didn't have the marks and medallions to barter at the skirmish camp. But
right. Especially on a camp like Honor, where marks are still a little hard to come by, though, over there.
Though they're easier now than they were.
yes. Now you can at least run. Yeah, you can at least run skirmishes now.
Yes.
You couldn't do in the past. Now let's look over at items. Cosmetic items that are available for Figments of Splendor have been moved to new. I haven't checked out for these new vendors yet. Items that were available in the Adventurers and Travelers Quartermasters have been moved to a new vendor named Curator. Alright. The new seasonal items currently available at the Adventurers and Travelers loot boxes have been placed in the seasonal vendor Filbert Fig. Fig's various seasonal items will become unavailable when the loot box cosmetics are replaced with new items to return next year when the seasonal event returns. The items of the Keeper of Mysteries remains untouched. I guess I'll have to go and check out the vendors to see what's what, where's where, and why's why.
Yep.
And hopefully it'll be easier to keep up. But I think they did have one vendor fits all or something like that before, which made it say, okay, which one has Figments, which one has this, which one has that. The Traveler's Steel-bound loot box no longer has a maximum usage level. That means they were turning into... What level were they turning into a pumpkin for you? Was it
115, I think.
115? Yeah, all right. Yeah, that was rather silly having a max level on those. The obsolete token of overcoming setback no longer drops from Adventurers or Travelers loot boxes. Whatever that was. I forgot.
Sounds like a good thing it's not dropping anymore.
Yeah. Medium might armor has been removed from crafting recipes because Bjornings no longer use medium might armor. They now use heavy armor. So
yay, we don't have to keep sorting through those.
Yeah. And all crafted armor has been adjusted to put in more... Didn't we say that already under crafting? Yep. Yeah, they gave that one twice. Yeah,
just in case we missed it.
Just in case we missed it first. And the level cap requirements for bartering for skirmish gear in skirmish camps are now more appropriate for the level of the gear. I really should check out figure out what in the world are they talking about here. I'll have to see. Oh, maybe people were buying high-end skirmish gear on the Legendary server?
Maybe.
I guess that's a possibility.
I mean, some of it would work for cosmetics. I could see it.
Well,
some of it,
for the
not
actual
really.
armor? Yeah, because usually the skirmish gear, I thought, has similar appearances at each level.
Each level range should, yeah. So I don't know.
Well, I'll have to go and check that out at some point. And Monster Play characters can now open and receive items in Adventure Steel-bound loot boxes. Accordingly, they may also now purchase Black Steel keys in the LOTRO store. However, creeps are receiving embers when opening boxes, but can only spend embers. But you can only spend the embers on free characters. Just for your information, since creeps don't have anything that were purchased by embers. Quests and adventure areas, the Midnight Raid instance will no longer kick players out on the Legendary servers. Why was it kicking players out? I've got no idea, but alright. The difficulty of Filikul, the Vile Maw, and Dar Narbugun has been adjusted, meaning that means the Turtle and the Watcher are now going to do more than 1 point of damage to you, I guess.
Probably?
Yes.
Is that all they were doing before?
Yeah, I think that's what it was, is they closed them on the Legendary servers because they were doing too little damage. And since they were capped level content on the legendary servers.
Yep.
And that's why they didn't close them on the other servers, because they weren't capped level stuff, so weren't as important for people. And probably half the people who'd run it just for some stuff might have been running a level 100 or something like that.
Way over level anyway, so yeah.
So if they were doing too little damage, it didn't matter all that much.
Fair.
But bright emblems of Nimrodil should now more reliably drop from chests, even in full raid groups, for Filical and Dar Narvogund. The morale of the Moria instance monsters has been increased. And in Moria, fungus takes flight. The Marival cages will no longer become unusable and fail to respawn if a player leaves combat when the Globsnaga captive. Globsnaga captives will also no longer become unattackable. And they fixed an invisible Hobbit NPC in the Dwelling Festival Garden. Okay. And that is what we have for the Twitch. There's a minor little update in there. So let's head into our beacon number 104, where they are still celebrating the spring festival over here.
Yep. Big celebration. At the Bree Festival grounds, it looks like.
Yeah, that's the usual place for such things. And in the community spotlight, the Shire's search for the Queen of the May will return to Laurelin on May the 4th. You can, of course, click in the beacon link in order to read more about the event details. And they'll be looking for both a Queen of the Maid and a King of the May. And there is a rule in there that you can't have anyone who's won it before is not eligible to compete for it again. And they're doing that so that they could have variety each year in on who the main rulers are. May rulers are, yes. The Minstrel Guild of Bree will be holding oh, no, that was today. Never mind. That's right. On Brandywine today, the Minstrel Guild of Bree held a March musicale, and perhaps there's some information on a presentation after, or on a recording on there, but of course, don't expect anything on YouTube, I guess, based on past history there. Lindemar presents a musical performance on Laurelin, April 7th. And you can learn more about the performance by clicking on there. So let's go to the Kin Hall. This is a little different than many of the others, because this one is, are you looking for a kinship? You can visit the kinship section of the forums by clicking here. If you would like to see your kin featured in the beacon, please send the email to lotro@standingstonegames.com with your kinship name, server, and brief description of the contact for more information. So therefore that means, yes, apparently no one was interested in being the featured kin this week. Let's then head into the weekly comment. Which do you have more of right now? Violets, marigolds, or primroses? Fans?
My one character who picked flowers so far this festival had almost even of all of them, and I think violets were ahead by 2.
So you are very, very close on there.
It was very close.
Oh, yeah. Cinders, which one for you?
Well, depending on which character you talk about, it might be different, but the character that I have in right now, Emeralina, is up with marigolds with 26.
I must admit that I've not done any flower collection yet for the season, so I want to say I have more marigolds because marigold is currently my property guard in front of my house.
Makes perfect sense.
Right? Then let's head into our fan site news. We have Mythgard and Middle-earth with the guest hostess of Druid's Fire. We have Epic Shenanigery with Tesla the Panda. We had Adventures After Dark with Big Ed Mustafa. Army of One Triumph with The Depths. The inaugural Laurelland Festival of Folk Music. Flights of Fancy with Wayward Playne. A Bard, Bagpipes, and Battles with Doug Glendower. The Road Goes Ever On with Gravity 42 and The Dwarf Scholar, now with more dwarves. And in our screenshot of the week, we have a sword salute to the Nightbow. And this is being provided
awesome.
and this screenshot is being provided by Chromite. Well, I suppose the rare Nightbow needs to be given a nice sword salute. Let's then head into our store sales. And Sans, what's on sale this week?
This week, the sale is Follow in Frodo's Footsteps. Get 20% off now through April 4th of select quest packs, 100% XP boosts, Mithril coins, max morale and power scrolls, and use the weekly coupon to get a Skill Enslayer Deed Boost ×1 with coupon code SKILLSLAYDEED, now through April 4th.
Ooh, I better go and use this on my character on Honor so that I can help with all those deeds that I need to get done in order to be to finish all those completionist deeds.
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
Mithril coins are on sale, guys. And XP boosts. And max morale and power can be helpful too. And quest packs if you don't have them.
So the max morale and power things drop out of Hobbit presents pretty easily.
That's true.
And on Honor, I'm not exactly in great need of XP boost.
I see people use them mostly when raiding or doing tougher content.
What, XP boost?
Max morale and power scrolls.
Oh, max morale and power scrolls. Okay.
I have also seen people use XP boosts while in a raid, doing things to level up, but...
Okay, I guess because the max morale and power scrolls that I tend to see only add so little...
It's not a lot.
Yeah, it's so little that...
But if you've got a bunch sitting around, that's a good time to use them.
That's why I don't buy them in the store, but if you got a lot of them out of your... Yeah, going into someplace, maybe that 195 or whatever it is, extra morale is going to save your life. Who knows?
Hey, it could.
It could. So every little bit helps on that matter.
Or maybe you're having problems with leech wardens and need that just a little bit extra power.
Usually when I had trouble with leech wardens, they also take that extra 195 too.
Well, fair.
Yeah. Oh, leech wardens. Now, the mithril coins, though, could come in handy.
Definitely.
Yeah. Be nice if I... Well, not or where I have the budget on there. I was going to say, can I afford to buy any mithril coins on my current Honor budget? Because I had the Honor budget so that part of the challenge is not to... It said to be completionist and not to buy my way in order to get everything done. So,
well, you should see if you've earned enough LOTRO points to get yourself some mithril coins then.
I think maybe a small amount, but not enough in order to do me any...
Hey, if you're doing Epic Volume 1, a small amount will be helpful.
Hey, I'm a warden. And I've got 3 milestones on a 5-minute cooldown. There's a reason why I bought 2 extra milestones.
Touché.
Yes, because I knew what was coming up.
Yep.
And especially this upcoming month, because this month is where I'm going to be trying to see how far I can get into finishing up Volume 1 by the end of this month, because Bingo Boffin is probably going to be heading into Moria at the start of May,
Ah,
based on my calculations of how the Bingo Boffin series progresses. And when Bingo goes into Moria, I'm obviously might not have as much time to work on Volume 1. So therefore, I want to see if I can finish all of Volume 1 in April. Haha, good luck to that.
where are you at now?
You gotta remember, I'm going at the speed of Boffin. So I just reached Angmar.
Cool.
And now they're, of course, they're in separate directions. But I'm also going to run on Honor more in April than I did in March. In March, since I'm also recording these things, I only had 3 episodes a week. I'm going to have 6 episodes a week in April to give me time to get all the way through. And hopefully I can finish Volume 1 by the end of there. But we're not going to bet big money on that. And if I fail to do so, then most likely I'll just have to do it off camera time. See how far I can get on camera, though.
Sounds good.
Yes. Now let's head into our site news, where we'll begin with Bull Rubbers Challenge, a brief guide to drunken fence walking. And this is by Zinger, who tells you all the tips and tricks to survive and thrive in Bull Rubbers Challenge, unless you are as I'm not too sure. I will survive and thrive trying it, but I have no trouble doing it sober.
I saw this posted right after finishing the Bull Rubbers Challenge just down the middle. And right. I was like, yeah, I can totally go do the south and north, and maybe another day. That took so many tries to get just the one down.
Oh, yeah. I was trying it, or I should say I was practicing it since I wasn't drunk at the time and didn't have the quest open, obviously. Just to see if I'm having enough trouble doing it sober on the middle one. Yeah, this is really, really... I'm looking at some of this to say, really? Some people want to do this?
Hey, if they want to, more power to them. Have fun.
It's a challenge, then.
I
guess that's what they're for, is to be a challenge in order to...
And it was fun when I finally finished it, but boy, was it a challenge.
I hope you get a good number of leaves for doing these. Or whatever reward you get for doing it. I presume you get some spring leaves for doing it?
I think I got like 5 Bull Rubbers Brews and then got to pick another prize.
Ooh, that's right. Bull Rubbers Brews is something you get to. That's right, because Brannick always had a tradition of doing the drunken fence walk so that he could get Bull Rubbers Brews and stock up on them so he has a year's worth at the end of the spring festival.
Right.
But since I'm not as much into beverages in the game as some people, it gives me a lot less incentive to wanting to do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of decoration items and a hat and some other stuff too, but...
Yeah. Though, one of the funny things I noticed in here, it says general tips. His first one was disabling post-processing. But if you disable the post-processing, how are you going to know where the posts are when you're to the part where you're jumping between posts?
You'll tell. You'll fall off often enough and you'll notice where the posts are supposed to be.
Yeah. But obviously, though, he's talking about post-processing effects in order to... The only problem is that... I'm sorry, but if you're going to have to cheat in order to finish it, then it's not worth doing.
Though, is it cheating if you have to run on those graphics to be able to run the game?
Well, there is that little detail, but then if your system is so bad that you have to run on those graphics just to run the game, then you're probably don't exactly have the best view of the world as it is. So
Right.
that might balance that. So yes, if you've got really, really bad graphics, then I think there might be some trade-offs in there in doing this. But if you have great graphics but turning down your post-processing, then it sounds a little cheaty. And I think even Zinger says that when he said it may be a bit cheesy, but it's effective.
It can really help if you're getting nauseous running through the maze too. Just for the record.
Oh yes, there is that other possibility to these. I'm sure some people don't feel the greatest, and it sounds like something the recipe for motion sickness for some people.
Yeah, my first time through the maze was horrible, and I was barely on halfway decent graphics, and finally somebody was like, turn off post-processing, and I did, and I was like, I can actually see where I'm going, and don't feel sick. This is amazing.
Well, it was supposed to simulate trying to jump fences while you're half sick anyway, so.
Well, okay, I get it when I was, like, for the drunk part, but for just trying to walk through the maze normally...
I
mean, it's useful for other things, too. If you're having trouble with blurry vision and not feeling good while moving quickly through some of these areas.
Yeah, alright. Good point then there. Now let's head...
So if you turned it off for one of those things, it's probably already off for fence walking, but, you know.
Let's head into Squirrel's article, who talks about the science behind a dead hobbit. Part 1. When do you die? Guess
when the game tells you you're dead?
Yeah, so the question is because when do you die and how not to? And he's, of course, talking about ways in which you can avoid getting killed when you are in combat. And he creates this little analogy between losing all your morale and having a jar of water that's being filled and you're trying to keep your water from overflowing before your opponent does. It's a rather strange way of putting it, but hopefully those who are having trouble understanding how the mechanics work were looking at it. Now, this was the most basic of the items, and I presume that this here is trying to lay the foundation work for some more complex mechanisms as you go along. But anyway, that's the idea there, is saying, at what point do you die and how do you avoid being the first one to die if you're going one-on-one against a opponent who has an equal amount of morale?
Tell them to jump on the well first. Oh, wait. Sorry.
You know all about jumping into the well.
This is talking more about actual combat, though. So.
Yeah. Now let's head into a new series where way long ago we used to have a series put up by Lily Kate. Actually, in that case, it was to find the Hobbit in the picture. In this case, you see the Hobbit in the picture. The question is, where is said Hobbit? And that is, where in Middle Earth is Emeraldina? And Emeraldina, would you like to talk about this?
So, the idea behind it was to find a way. Well, it really was to find a way to stop Terry. Terry knows LOTRO so well, and so I'm still learning, and I'm getting to explore new places and looking at things from new viewpoints. And so the question is, has she seen it this way before? And can she find it? And in turn, can you all figure out where Emeraldina is at? And my goal is to try to post one weekly. It might end up being bi-weekly depending on school stuff. But
Right.
my goal is to post one weekly, and each time the next one comes out, it will tell where the previous one was. So everybody can check and see if they're right.
Okie dokie. And in this
Now, when you
case,
tell where, are you going to tell where, like, by coordinates, or, like, location and coordinates, or just location?
Just kind of a general location that will get you there, because I don't know how to figure out the coordinates. So I will tell you the area and the name of the nearest big place around there.
okie dokie. So if you want to try to make a little guess on that, then you could go over to the LOTRO Players site and look for the Where in Middle-earth is Emeraldina. Maybe you could put a episode number in the title also so that we...
And see, I don't have it in the title, I just have it in the actual thing. So this
Yeah.
one is installment number 1, and the next one will be installment number
Number
2,
2.
and so on and so forth, so that people can keep track of where it's at.
Though we can probably put one in the title, too. I bet we could put, like, a number 1 there.
That way, if someone is looking through an index of the site, they could quickly choose one if they're looking for a specific number. Why? I don't know, but...
Well, I suppose it's possible. Some people do like to do things numerically.
Yeah. So head over to the site, and I'm not exactly sure where this is. I heard Terry Adwin's guess on it. I don't know how close she was on that. I guess we'll find out next week.
Do you remember what Terry Edmonds' guess was to share with everyone?
Well, I don't want to say that out loud because I don't want to influence other people.
Fair.
Or at least that's my guess. And I noticed that I haven't seen any comments on this. I don't know if did someone turn off comments, or is it that you're not soliciting guesses here, so therefore, or at least public guesses.
I don't actually know how to enable or disable comments, but it also was only posted like an hour ago.
Aha! Yes, that will.
I didn't want to give her too much of a chance to research this.
Yes, all right. You got a point there. Let's then head into Terry Adwin's cosmetic pick of the week. And Terry Adwin's voice was taking a vacation today. And hopefully it gets nice and rested because next week she's heading into Manhattan for the exhibit and a performance. And here we go. And her pick for this week is the Gala Dream Warden. Okay, that could be. And of course, this is, as usual, something by the Cosmetic LOTRO because that's where she has been doing most of her picks of the week lately because Cosmetic LOTRO has been doing some really nice outfits recently. I guess getting back into the groove. Let's see here. This is the Wardens of Lorien were elven patrols that operated in small groups. They defended the borders of Goldenwood against the forces of Moria and Dol Guldur. Yes. And the headpiece is the Lady of the Helm of the Lady's Favor, dark mossy green. Oh boy, they're getting from Dar Nargabund Warden / Bjorning armor. Okay. Pauldrons of the Reclaimed City, which is a quest reward quest for 105. Expeditionary's Reinforced Chestplate, quest reward 107. Gauntlets of the Silent Watcher, dark mossy green dye, reward quest 105. So a lot of these are around 105 quest rewards, probably, I will assume, from Northern Mirkwood quest, because that sounds like the logical place to be getting all those things from. Berserker's Boots, dark mossy green. Let's see. Angle Grisk, quest reward level 68 for the weapon. So I presume you could substitute a different weapon if you have a preference. Because I'm a warden and I use spears, and you can't use cosmetic non-spears. And the shield is calm in Elbreth, dropped in Carn-Dûm. So you have to do Carn-Dûm in order to get. So this is not exactly what I will call an easy to get cosmetic. Some of them are easy to get, and some of them are really hard. And I think this week's is on the tougher side.
Though they would be before Northern Mirkwood, because Northern Mirkwood's all 115.
Oh, you're right. Northern Mirkwood is 115. Oh, you are right on that. Then, Padres of the Reclaimed City. Oh, then that would be Algeria?
Quite possibly. The Fallen King Renewed could also be the Crossroads.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, the Fallen King Renewed. You're right. That would be one of the items you can get from the Crossroads.
But watch out for gorgeous, ginormous tree trunks that might turn out to be things that would stomp on you and be even better than trees or columns.
Yeah, there is that. And through the Gardens of Gondor. Okay, see, of course. Through the Gardens of Gondor. Yeah, is that in Northern Mirkwood? No, of course not. It's in Gondor. Yes. In Ithilien, of course.
I think the chess piece was one of the Mordor ones.
Yeah, that makes sense, because what was spoken and what was revealed, that's the end of the quest chain in Udun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now I remember it, because after seeing all of those banners that were communicating with each other.
Right.
Alright, so, now that we're on the right track.
And this was also posted today.
Yes. And what's important to note on this then is, of course, that it's still tough material, because Mordor, by definition, is always a real challenge for me, at least. Then, that's it for what we have this week. So let's head into our new player question. And who had asked the question this week?
I did. And my question was, what are the purposes of shield spikes and shield spike removal kits?
We'll begin with shield spikes.
Aside from the obvious, it makes your shield spiky, even though it doesn't actually visually make it spiky.
I don't know if they actually visually do anything on the matter, since they are temporary things, and that would be a bit challenging in order to get that to look that way. But the main thing shield spikes do is give you a damage type. There are other types of shield spikes, one that might add a little damage or something like this, but usually in using a shield spike, you're trying to improve your damage in a particular damage, make your shield do a particular damage type, because shields normally do common damage. And there's sometimes, right, and sometimes you might want to avoid doing common damage, and therefore you put a shield spike on it. Now, this is only if you have any sort of shield bash, like a minstrel using shield spikes is probably not going to do all that much.
I don't think they're even allowed to try.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense then. But a warden, where doing attacks with shields is an integral part of being a warden, though I'll tell you right now, in practice, I always forget to put on the shield spikes. But I do have shield spikes that, when I do, on a rare occasion, actually remember to use them, could change my shield spike to do Balerian damage instead of common damage.
So it's kind of like the oils, but it doesn't make them do fire or light damage. It makes them do the other types of damage.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, as for shield spike removal kits, that's just to remove an effect from a shield spike. And you say, why would I want to do that? Let's say that you I don't know if you're allowed to replace one shield spike with another one directly. I would
You
have to.
probably can because you can replace one oil with the other.
Yeah.
But you
All right.
can't get
So
rid of it unless you've got a wash.
right. But how often does one want to get rid of a shield spike completely? The only way I could think of it is that if you had something that was completely immune, let's say, to Balerian damage right after you put a shield spike with Balerian damage, and somehow took more damage from common than from Balerian, then let's remove that spike.
What if it had a reflect and it was going to reflect Balerian back at you?
Yes, that's even more likely to make you want to swap it out. Now, maybe I don't think there's anything to actually reflect Balerian,
Well, I don't
but
know. There's some of those that have so many reflect this, and this. I stopped paying attention.
right. But let's say for the Assault on Ringwraith's Lair, where you have all those raids, and they have this thing they put on themselves that reflects. I believe they reflect a large number of damages, including Western Nest, so they take extra damage from Western Nest. So you may want to call that a fair trade-off. But let's say you were squishy and did not want to have to worry about that, then you could, if you had a Western Nest shield spike and you had just gone into the battle of Assault on the Ringwraith's Lair, you may want to remove it.
Okay.
Which probably means that you were probably in a different instance before that point, because I don't think you're going to put a shield spike with with Western Nest just before going into that.
Maybe you accidentally hit a key or something.
Yeah, that's always a
and want to
possibility.
fix it real fast.
Yeah. I don't use shield spikes enough in order to know if there's a reasonable scenario where you actually want to remove it, but I'm sure you could conjure one or two mentally.
I mean, with oils, I've only really wanted to remove it once. And changing to the other oil wasn't an option at that point. Like, it didn't make the scenario any better.
Yeah, one of the cases for oils, at least, is there are the ones I just talked about, those raids, they reflect fire.
Right,
So
and usually you can just change it to light without needing a wash.
Yes, you could change it to light, which is light is probably one of the best things to use against those raids. So you'll probably change it. But what if you suddenly say, "Oh, I'm out of light"? Well, I guess you could wash that off, and if you're doing, I guess Western S would be a pretty good thing to use against raids. Yeah,
Balerian works.
Well, Balerian works. Yes, whichever one of those works better. Yeah, so if you got something better on your base one to build it, at least there you have something other than common usually on your weapon.
True.
But anyway, that's what shield spikes are, and the removal kits. Someone who actually uses shield spikes a lot more than I do might be able to come up with a better scenario on when to do it, because I've only seen a few shield spikes. As I said, I have seen shield spikes that give you a particular damage type, and I might have seen one other. I think there's a basic one. I can't remember what the basic shield spike does, but they might have some other things that they can. There might be other types of shield spikes that I'm not thinking of, and there might be some reason why you might want to take one of those off.
Are they different between like guardians and wardens?
As far as I know, shield spikes are shield spikes.
Okay.
Having a crafter who can make them, I know you can make them to do like ancient dwarf, Balerian, or Western S damage.
Yeah, because I think those are the ones I hear about.
Okay, cool.
Let's then head into our week in Lotro and Cinders. What were you up to when you weren't going around taking pictures?
So several of my characters earned the festival go. I loved the bright colors. I was so excited. Um, so both of my Landerville mains have it, Cinders and Emeralina, and my burglar has it. Um, so I'm enjoying looking at all the bright colors on the festival goat. I've heard the description garish, and I would prefer the term cheerful. Uh, but I'm also the person getting a yellow and pink house, so that tells you something.
Oh, that's right. I
Um,
forgot about that.
and I may or may not wear yellow and pink ever since I found a pair of bright pink pants. So, I do like the cheerful colors. I also attempted to leave Sands and Hobbiton Bywater while we were en route to Glowin's camp, epic questing on Crick Hollow. Um, I have a captain there, and she doesn't get to use her summoning skills very often because we all have 5-minute cooldowns. And so I have been trying to summon randomly to different places and just see if Pineleaf and Sands will just take summons without reading where they're going. And then while they're being summoned, porting somewhere else and just seeing how confused they can get. It didn't work. It's almost worked like 3 times where I've tried to port them like just a few feet away or port them like a few feet backwards. But then they read what it said and then they wouldn't accept it. And then I did some porting around Middle Earth with Sanswinda, to work on where in the Middle Earth is Emeralina. So I had a lot of fun with Sanswinda today and over the last week in LOTRO. Sanswinda, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I found the Paths of the Dead on the field trip and discovered that we are high enough level to go to Gondor, and I know Gondor needs our aid. But we did not take the Paths of the Dead or go to Gondor. We are continuing to help the people of Rohan and putting off our many, 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 many days in Minas Tirith. And I'm not too sad about this, actually. And I did quite a bit of festival questing and gained the fish slap emote on several alts on Anor, as well as a few cosmetic items and a goat on Landval from a burglar for girls and a few other things, but mostly lots of fish slap emotes. And I avoided being left in Hobbiton Bywater en route to Glowin's camp while epic questing. And yeah, that was fun. She did get off a few good summons, though. To give her credit, she did get ahead of us and summon us to where we needed to be, I think twice. So, yeah, we got to go up into the Misty Mountains and finish our epic questing there. And that was a lot of fun. Though, there were spiders in the snow. There should not be spiders in the snow. Just
there were
saying.
spiders in the snow?
Yeah, they kept summoning them. It was very rude of them.
Weird.
And it was that frozen Hugrud place. Yeah, very rude.
Oh, yeah, yes, those sorceresses, they really love summoning spiders.
Yeah, it's like their favorite pastime, and I learned where my interrupt skill was, so that was good.
Yeah, but being able to smack a Nazgul in the face is nice.
That was nice. That was very nice. And I felt very accomplished when we finished that, and got to go tie up a few other loose ends and start Book 6 of the Volume 1. Book 6. How was your week, Pineleaf?
We'll begin with my burglar on Crick Hollow, where I reached Elthangles, meaning the start area of the Norcrofts after having a little bit of a race. I've always thought that when you look at this race at face value, I know being the player character trumps all the other stuff on the matter. But when you look at this, all right, here I am. We have this man who's grown up with horses all his life. So he must be an expert rider. And I am a hobbit who's grown up in the Shire.
On a war steed that you just learned to ride, as they
Or
point out pretty pointedly to you that your other horses aren't real horses.
yeah, that's right. So therefore, this war steed that I just learned how to ride, as you noted in there. And on top of that, the person in question has been to and from Floodwind and Elthangles probably 100 times in his life. And I've never been
At
to
least,
Elthangles at
sure.
all. So it's a really fair race.
Totally fair. You have a map.
I've got a map. Oh, yes, a map that you don't dare bring up when you're when you're running because you're on a war steed.
Well, if you do, you might have to restart the race.
Oh boy. And on my warden there, I now have finished 4 of the skirmish encounter deeds. I think last week I might have noted that I got the Trouble in Tuckborough done and Siege of Gondomar, and I managed now to get Thievery and Mischief done, and let's see, I think Fort of Bruinen is the other one I managed to get, so I am getting a pretty good score on trying, because my goal is, of course, is to get Skirmish from Middle-earth by the end of the year, and that's going to help a lot on it. And now, one of the things I noticed while I was actually, it looks like I've got 5 done. Ooh, Fence and Prancing Pony and Fort of Bruinen. Okay, that's 5 done now. And I was surprised when, I think yesterday, I was bringing up the skirmish and I said, wait a minute, why do I have extra skirmishes I didn't notice here before? It says, oh, somehow Storm of Methodius popped in here. I noticed that when they first opened up skirmishes, Storm of Methodius wasn't in the list for me. And as far as I know, Storm of Methodius started out at level 20, so I thought, well, I thought they were going to wait until we got to Dunland or something like that before opening it because of where it's set, but it looks like that must have been a bug or something like that, because I'm now able to run Storm of Methodius, and that means that I might even be able to get Skirmish from Middle-earth by the end of this year, really, because the one question I had on whether or not I was going to do it by the end of the year was I going to have Storm of Methodius in time? It looks like they answered that question now. Then,
Yay.
yes, yay. Well, for me, it's not exactly. I know you really love that one. For me,
That's Terry's favorite, actually.
That's Terry's favorite. Yeah, she likes to do that one a lot. And I'm running Storm Methodius. This is right after, of course, they boosted up all those mobs. And Storm Methodius is one that you can get through quickly, but you can also get killed quickly if you're not careful.
Very true.
Then my honor warden also managed to get Kindred with the In League. Now, what I could do with that, I have no idea, but right, Kindred with the In League. Then during Friday night fights, we ran the first 3 Heligrod dungeons. Now, in this case, we had a relatively low turnout. So what we decided to do was to run those 3 dungeons at level 100 or 101, because we had a 96 in the group, a 106 in the group, I think, and 4 120. So we had only 6, with the lowest at 95. we figured that having the 120s in there would balance out having only 6 instead of the 12 that you normally would have for running Heligrod. So we ran the Spider Wing, which I know that Sans will say, yuck! And we have, then we
Thank you for
ran,
clearing out all those nasty spiders for us.
yeah, they cleared out all those nasty spiders. Then we dealt with the giants, which are, yeah, you know how giants are. At least that if my character was still needing giants, which knowing my Langeville one, where I told you how my Langeville character was in relation to virtues and the like, that I'm sure that helped me with my Misty Mountains Steed. Yeah, Heligrod would be Misty Mountain. Yeah, for my Misty Mountains giant steed. So maybe that did help me on that particular score. And then, of course, finally we did the Drake Wing. We did not do the Dragon Wing when I did not think that we were going to be able to do that with 6, at least not at level 101. Then finally on Friday, yeah, that was Friday Night Fights. So that is it for what I did this week in LOTRO. So let's head into news beyond the LOTRO, where there is a new announcement for the Lord of the Rings Gollum video game. And that is being put up by German video game developer Daedalic Entertainment. Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Could be interesting.
Yeah. What does it do? Think it is precious. Yes. So that will be something to look for, but that is being announced at some point in 2021. So we got a couple of years to wait for it. It's really frightening that now you're seeing game announcements for things that are coming out in the 20s, yes. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious array of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on a podcast of your choice, or even be guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. This week we do have a featured comment from Mary Rose, a morning song, and Sans. What did Mary Rose say?
Mary Rose says, "Fun show, thank you. I just wanted to say how much fun I've been having on the legendary server while questing in Moria, and it's all because of the LOTRO community. I've lost count how many characters on all servers that are going through Moria, but this just feels different. Random players have been mailing me class allies. It's a slight exaggeration to say I salivate like Pavlov's dogs when in-game mail arrives, but it is safe to say when new mail comes, I do get excited. Other players have mentioned they have had the same experience, so that delete button for unwanted class allies is being ignored for now. It's too much fun to mail someone else drops who can use them, especially when it's a second ager. Take care, and can't wait for the big 300! Hobbit wave and hug, Mary Rose." Thank you, Mary Rose.
Thank you, Mary Rose. And Mary Rose is a regular listener to our live show. So thank you, Mary Rose, for the little comment on there.
And 300 is next week.
And 300 is next week. And the question is then, have any of you made it to... I don't think either of you made it to Moria on Honor yet either, right?
I'm in Moria?
No.
Yeah.
I haven't even made it to 20.
I made it into Moria on Honor, and then got sidetracked by the fact that the Spring Festival was here, and I could pick up some of the cosmetics.
Ah, yes, there is that.
because that spring tunic and trousers comes in pretty handy. And then I discovered that none of my alts had the fish slap emote, and so then all of them were working on that. So yeah, I got distracted.
Yeah, I have to go back in there and check all of those cosmetics to see which ones of those I'm going to want, since obviously on Honor I don't have any of them yet. So I should go back in time, see all the ones that I do need or want or anything like that. And the other thing I need to do is I presume that I can get extra spring tokens by turning in badges of taste.
You can. You can
Yes.
also get the jig emote, and you can get some fun housing decor items.
Oh, I got the jig emote a long time ago. I got that during the Winter Festival.
Well, in that case, you can't get
Yeah.
that again.
Yeah, because I think that was either friend or ally that you needed for that one, that you didn't need kindred for it.
Okay, something like that. But yeah, you can get spring leaves.
You get spring leaves
6
for
per
that.
box.
6
And a
per
box costs 2 badges of taste, so.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good upgrade on that matter. Because I can't think of too much more, because I looked at the items in there, and I'm already going to have one keg in, because I did do the hedge, and so I wound up picking up a sinister keg while doing the maze this year. So I certainly don't need another keg in my house on top of that.
Well, if you know some girls of Middle Earth and you can get them to let you, you can always put your keg in their house. Because we seem to have a collection going.
Yes, but the girls of Middle Earth aren't on Honor. I thought they were on Landreval.
Oh, they're not on Honor. Never mind. We should be on Honor too. Where they can house and everything.
So we can
Full of kegs.
store more cakes. Oh dear. Yes. We might have a problem.
No problem.
What? I don't have a problem. None of us have problems. What?
We can have lots of treacherous holes too, right?
Yes. I think so.
Yeah. Ready Player One was asking who will the guests be. That's the secret, isn't it?
I don't have a guest list, but I have a good idea that we invited a bunch of people.
Yes, I don't know all who actually accepted said invitations, and of course, how many of those who accepted the invitations are actually going to be able to make it, which is always a different matter.
But there should be guests, and it should be fun.
Yes, it should be fun, and hopefully we don't have all our guests tired from a trip to the Morgan Library, because I'm sure a lot of people are going around the same time as Terry Adwin is, because because I believe there's a party by is it the Lonely Mountain Band who's playing there or something? I believe.
I heard a rumor that they were, but I have not confirmed said rumor.
Yes, but I believe that is what made Terry Adwin all excited to go that particular day, was because of the party that was having Lonely Mountain Band as their musicians. We did not receive any emails this week. If you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast at LOTROplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Players Alliance at Players Allied, and LOTROplayers at LOTROplayers, Arandis at Arandis, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needle, Senswin at Senswin, Terry Adwin at Terry Adwin, and Cinders at Emeralina, wherever she is. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Thursdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have the LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, and this is Pilot Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.